What is up, everybody? This is Tikwe, also known as Richard, and I'm coming back to you with another casted game. We are going to jump into that very shortly. That is my standard intro. So you guys know I haven't been streaming for a while. I do apologize. We had a bit of internet issues where we transferred to a new service provider, and South Africa is currently on a stage 4 load shedding trend, and yeah, we're just running around trying to wish we had power and wish we had internet and wish we had service at the same time. But enough of politics. Let's talk about the game because that's what we're here for. So first thing that you guys will notice is we ended platinum. We ended platinum. So I was playing offline a little bit. There was a little bug fix on the ranking system as well, where they recalculated the rankings as well, and it ended really well. So we did end Platinum 3 for Season 1 of the rank system. You can see this beautiful Platinum Soaring Kite statue that's usually in your landmark. I'll show you guys when we jump in. You got the banner, you got the little 2 clinging cups. A little known fact about the clinging cups, so you guys know. The term cheers, when you cling your cups together, comes from a medieval time as well, when the cups were smashed together so both drinks spill into each other. So if you try to poison your enemy or poison their drink, you both had to drink a shared drink, and that's where the term cheers comes from, and it was adopted in the medieval age. So yeah, I pretty much love everything about that age, and I think it's wonderful to know the history, and especially if you guys haven't done that yet, jump into the single campaign and run through your the different campaigns, because all these little videos of what happened in that era, how the armor was made, how they transitioned into different ages with the gear, and also what actually preceded, like for argument's sake, the French had 100-year war. That's unbelievable to think people can fight for 100 years. It's insane. So I really enjoyed running through the campaign. I think it was really beautiful to do. You can see there's some locked items here. I think there's a Siege of Kiev conquest that I still need to do there. But everything else seems to be done. I don't know why this one is not done. In my understanding, I did finish it, but hey, more game to play. Then we want to check the masteries here at the bottom. So every faction has some challenges. You can just do custom games here, max out your resources if you have to. And just choose the right age. It was very easy to just work through them, so you can get all these achievements done, and that plus your games that you play, you get up to quite a nice account level, and that's these little buttons that you see here on the side. Afterwards they become 3 big buttons once you reach over, I think 190, I think so, or 200, I'm not sure. And then you get these little rank flowers, I guess, symbols that adds to that level. I've seen some champions or some players, especially people like Beastie Cutie and them, on some really high rankings. Okay, but cool, let's get into the gist and why you guys are actually here. So I accidentally won a game as China. Just gonna throw it out there. I am not a China player at all. There's talks about them being a very difficult server at the moment. We dropped a game with a Holy Roman Empire mirror, nothing crazy there. I lost this game. He went for a fast castle age. I went for early men at arms to secure the relics, and go for a bit of a raid from a match that I watched. But my understanding about it is that, you know, a lower level play, anything below platinum, go for the standard build order, go for a timing push with your units. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to win the game, or be very close if you don't make silly mistakes. You know, like your timing on your wheelbarrow, your timing on when your second town center comes down, your timing on when your feudal age comes in, your timing on when you push into the enemy's base. If you get those timings consistent, you'll find a lot of success no matter what faction you play. So personally, I just play the game as China. So yeah, we played against Jin. He was a pretty cool guy. He played it English. He seemed to know English pretty well. I can't hop into his account here. We'll have to search for him. But let's hop into the game so we can actually see what's going on. Sorry for the background noise. That was just my dad coming to say hi. Gotta love your parents. But yeah, so why is I accidentally China? I am not a China player. Bottom line, I just did it for the mastery, and I really don't know much about them, other than the streams I've watched and Aussie Drongo, loving China, picking up some of his games. So Scouts on 1, Town Center 2, going for a bit of a weird spawn here. If you look at the map, we have a insane mountain pass here, even berries that spawn on top of the mountain, big berries. That was actually some very safe food if it was open. I wonder if you clear this berry bush, if you could have gone through here. I'm not sure. It looks like it's open though, but there's a lot of wood and everything, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a really big mountain spawn. I mean, you can close this off here at the back for less than a 50-60 wood. Close that off, whereas this side you can see it's quite a bigger, more defined area, so you can maybe close off right here or close off right there and here. But it's good to see the different spawns of the map, to kind of know what to expect. There is kind of a standard on it. Usually there's supposed to be a mountain range, and this gap, like you can see right here, this little stealth forest gap, that's usually right here in the middle between the center points, and usually a single sacred site in the middle and the two on the sides, and a lot of little small deer spawns. You can see there's one, the big main one here. There's going to be another one down here at the back. So a lot of food on the map that you can explore to, you can see, but it's maybe a 5 villager exploration map. You can't really push 10-15 villagers all the way here and then make them run all the way here for 3 deer. You know, you want to transition into farms and stuff, and there's quite a bit of wood and stuff in the game. So you can see this beautiful statue right there in the middle. Gotta love it. I think it's one of the nicest statues, and one of the nicest things to win about, you know, getting the specific ranks in the season. You can flex those little things, and it really looks nice. We can check what he has at the back here. Little statue there. Please just change the statue next time, Jin. Please. There's a lot more better options than that one, but that's maybe what he's going for right now. So he's going for the standard English opener. It's 2 on wood, 2 on sheep, and 2 on gold, and then you transition very early into a mill and a wheelbarrow, and then after that you transition into farms and a little bit of a later feudal age. So you can see now we going for 6 on food, supervised by the Imperial official, which makes the food drop off a little bit quicker. As far as buildings generate 100% tax while in the influence of the Imperial Academy, or the Imperial official can supervise this building, and basically that means the official supervises the building, making it produce 150% faster. Resource drop off buildings receive 20% more resources. It's very similar to the Rus. The Rus has a tech that's very much similar to what the Imperial official does. You'll see here on their wooden fortress, right? The wooden fortress, if you drop a lumber camp in the vicinity of the wooden fortress, they gather 20% more resources. So you can see that the influence, the lumber camp influence. With the Imperial official, you can do that with any resource by just supervising the building. That's why you'll see the Imperial official supervise specific buildings, so you can get the most out of these berries. So you get 25% more out of these berries just by supervising it, and you'll get more out of your sheep by dropping off at the specific mill. You can see this is going to be a really nice stable early game food supply, a very safe deer camp, and just hopping over to the perspective here, picking up some sheep. Nothing crazy. 3 sheep this side, 3 sheep here. We'll find a little bit more here. Look at this little canyon. I mean, if you had be a springle down here, you'll not be able to fire anything off. If you were a catapult, you'll be smiling, but Yeah, that's quite a cavity in this map. You can see if I zoom in how high that actually is. But yeah, so a really nice safe map to play off. I was curious if this guy was gonna rush me. You can see there the wheelbarrow coming a little bit on the late side. This should have been, you can get this down at 1 minute 30, 1 minute 35 around there. You can already start your wheelbarrow and have it done by this 3-minute timer. And that's important when you are playing the English, because they are a bit of a boomy civ these days, not a rushing civ anymore. So I didn't know what to do really. You can see now 3 minutes 15 for the age up. Going for, what do we have options of? We have the Imperial Academy. And we have the Barbican of the Sun. Now, the Barbican of the Sun is a defensive landmark, that's like a fortress, and the Imperial Academy gives you a bit of, what do you call it, influence. So they act as influence. They give you more gold from the tax that the Imperial official collects. So just to give you guys an idea how I played this, I had a 2 on gold, but the Imperial official, while supervising this, would I'll manually click, shift click town center, and then R click, sorry, is it supervise? Yeah, E and right click again on the mill. There was a bug on it before, now it does work, so you can do that little rotation very comfortably. And yeah, you can see this is not the best build order to go for the gold and the mill, because yeah, if you go house, mill, and gold, you're in a bit of a predicament, because you need extra 50 when you only started with 150. So you need that extra 50. Or did I do wheelbarrow? I did not do wheelbarrow. So yeah, you need that extra 50 gold. So I built a house here, struggling to get wood, just picking up straight trees here. So really not the best start for China here. If you look at the English player, he did not actually go into farms, which is very surprising. Maybe he was scared of China, so he already goes for the second town center here. Goes for the Abbey of the Kings. So a lot of early raids should have come in if you go for the Abbey of the Kings. But right now we're just going to focus on booming. So there's a certain point here where I'm like, okay, cool, you know, I need to save up for the Imperial Academy, which I do have at 6, let's say 7 minutes. But look how long it takes for me before I build it, because that's Song Dynasty, and Song Dynasty gives you the higher food production, or villager production. I think 30% the higher villager production from, yeah, Song... Scouts getting line of sight. Song Dynasty, 35% reduced time. So it counts out as a 1 1/3 town center, really. And you can see we're going for a second town center. And I'll slow it down just a little bit here so you guys can see what I did. I walled off here. It was a little bit of scout pressure, which should have been longbows, because he aged up quite a bit earlier than me. And I walled off this food so I can have this food, I can have my gold safe, and there's quite nice, these little patches of tree lines that spawns, and we have the Barbican to defend most of our base here. You can do a little run around. I was vulnerable here, but that's a big stretch to go all around here just to get into the base. Most of the time when you go Abbey, you do go into a more aggressive style by picking up horsemen and running into a horseman. If he did that early on, I would have had a much harder game. Now we have the Imperial Academy here. That function is to get the influence right on those buildings. That's the 100% tax gold. And the Imperial official can actually drop off at this building and doesn't have to run all the way back to the town center. So he's going to keep collecting tax from all these different buildings. Now transitioning more villagers onto the gold, and we blocked off here in the front just to have a bit of map control. The main focus was getting these relics kind of controlled. I have a bit of control over the sacred site, even though it's not captured, and my forward resources is controlled. I felt, you know, it's quite a small map. If I had to go anywhere more forward, this wall would have gone down very early. So I didn't want to be too greedy with this wall. Also, I have the vision of the Barbican of the Sun, and now this Song Dynasty is just going to pump out these villagers. They train at 13 seconds, whereas for the English, they would train in 20 seconds. So 7 seconds is quite a bit when you start training those villagers. We're sitting on 34. He's sitting on 41. Only big reason is idle time on my side, and also second town center, now going for a third town center with King's Palace. So he's doing moderately well. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, we tried getting an outpost to get a bit of sacred side pressure here. Walls are done, so he has to do this little snake run in to get into the base. We did get our food upgrades, lumber upgrades we did not get, specialized pick we did not get. There we yeah, miss microing if we were going for any fast castle, because you can see now at almost 12 minutes, only now dropping off the astronomical clock tower. And they call this bare bone. Bare bone meaning 0 military. So, you know, we're securing a lot of map control, and sometimes you can get away with this. I wanted to secure this because this is huge. It's quite protected as well because of this huge wall. And I dropped off, I only needed like 9 palisade walls to close this off, because I used this wood line. What you can find people do is sometimes chops through here to get through, but you never know how steep this is. Maybe it doesn't work, but yeah. So we have these villagers now building this 4 town center. So that's our second one from the stone we gathered. And yeah, so now we have the town centers pumping out villagers. So you can click this one, then you click shift, click this one, press 2 again, then you have both of them now on shift to click, so you don't have to struggle. I struggled a lot with wood. I always wondered why China go over to wood so quickly, but I understand now, because these little villages, they are quite expensive. The villages are 125 wood, and they give 40. Well, it's actually cheap if you compare it to houses. They are actually cheaper. Otherwise, it was going to be 200 wood. So pretty decent. You can build 3 of them. What's nice about it, they can also garrison villages. They don't act defensively. They don't shoot out, but you can garrison your villages inside them. They have about a if you look at the second town center, is 2,400 HP. This is 1,500. So they can be sieged down, but you can have a bit of safety on your villagers and zone your villagers into them when you strategically place them down. I just use them to cover my food here, because if I close off here, which is technically closed off because of this, I can transition into my farms back here, and it's going to be very comfortable and very safe. Now, we're also going for a Imperial Palace. The reason why I love this landmark is information is one of the biggest resources in the game. You can see also closed off on his side. Starting to build up a mass now, getting monastery out, getting the prelates out. We also are going to transition into the relics very shortly. You can see he has the scouts right here, just having some control over these relics. But still barebone. Imagine 14.5 minutes not training a single military unit. I was lucky, because the English player was quite a bit ahead on resources, in my opinion. You know, he has a much higher villager count. I'm sitting on 48. He's sitting on 79. Is it 79? No, 70. So almost double against the China player. So that's impressive. You know, we'll get away with the 2 town centers against the 3, 1, 2, 3, because you know we get that 35% training speed. But now going for another one right here in the front. Now, if this was me as the English player, I would have gone for a castle first here. This placement was really good, because you secure the gold, you secure all this wood, it's quite safe. You can't really raid beyond this point. It's map control. I zoned off this side already. So dropping off a castle here, even if you had to just econ a bit with a market and buy some stone, and drop a castle first and then your town center, it would have been so much more. Or even just a mining camp. so you can just get this and get out, right? So you can see now he's building up quite a bit of mass here, and he also has the blacksmith upgrades. So far nothing, so 15 minutes, no upgrades on that. I don't even have a blacksmith. I tried going for this relic, but he already has it. And now I send my prelate or monk to the back here, and I built the second one right here, so there's little running time left. So you have two buildings as China. You have your pagoda, I think this is pronounced right. If you can place the relic in that, they generate 50 gold, 25 food, wood, and stone every 30 seconds. So you get a bit of everything. Here you'll just get, I think it's 100, the standard 100 gold per minute from any relics captured, excluding the Holy Roman Empire. He actually went for a wall here, but this is quite interesting. So I walled off, right? And there's no passage through here, so the only way really through here is through my base, and the only way to do that is through this Barbican of the Sun, right? So I'm going for the relic here. You can see there's no vision or anything here, but yeah, this wall does go down, right? And we'll see how he gets this down, because we do have map control with this forward walls and stuff here. But he gets through here and he builds this wall, so let's keep an eye on that. So we pick up this relic at the back now, and we're transitioning into some stables. Our astronomical clock tower, getting our clock tower and nest of bees. They're pretty strong units. I love the spread damage, and they really make complement on army quite comfortably. As you can see, those villagers idle now because of the deer. And now I need to transition them into other food supplies like farms. I really struggled to get my farms up. 16 on wood. I would have argued that this gold supply should have been wood supply, and I should have finished this wood range so I can build over to farms sooner than later. You can see this is very aggressive to place farms on this forward town center, and there's no influence of the mills, so these few are influenced, these are not influenced, this is influenced. So this is basically the only really good farm down here and down here, but there's no other farms which has that mill influence of the English. You know that at Castle Age it's 25% increased gathering speed, so this is a waste. So he's getting the forward gold here. We have quite a bit on gold. We have 12 villagers here and another 19 villagers down here, and that, yes, there we go, monastery 100 gold per minute right here, and another one here, so that's another 100 gold, and he has 3. You can see there are 3 relics in the monastery here, so 300 gold per minute for free there. So he's gonna have quite a nice economy running. You can see sitting on 2,900 gold. That's insane. That's really high gold. You should, if you're not pushing with gold like that into castles and units and just mass producing anything, you know, it would not help you if you have that high gold and not even Imperial Age and stuff done by this time. If you reach your milestones of Imperial Age and those type of things, you know, use that gold and buy food if you have to, so you can get these upgrades done. You can see now he's sitting on quite high numbers. I actually pushed forward so I can clean up this prelate. I think I did kill him, I'm not sure. Yeah, I did kill the prelate. I killed the prelate, tried killing the villagers, didn't get it. But now we noticed his army, and from my perspective, this is what I see, right? I see there's a bit of knights out, and we are countering by respecting this. He is still H3, but we can see there is towers, and the towers are great because he gets that extra 25% attack speed. But if this was a castle and you got that castle upgrade, this could have been 50%, right? So small little nuances of the army that he didn't use. And I went for 5 stables, didn't really have a lot of space, but you can see I just dumped all my resources into you can see now he stabilized on the economy, but he overdid it. Now he has too much food, not enough gold. Does go for the housing and stuff, siege workshops, you know, a lot of, not that much military, getting all the upgrades, +2 upgrades, a lot of them are already done. I don't even have a blacksmith. So you can see now here at the back, I drop off the castle here, I have the Imperial Palace here, Barbican of the Sun here, so quite defensive front line. You can just breach through this and basically expose my whole base. I think it would be safe to say, if this is ever you, put a second wall down, just to delay that enemy push a little bit more. He's upgrading the towers now, so that's pretty good. That's 2,000 health on these towers. Quite hard to get through, especially with that increased attack speed. But now you can see I am pushing numbers, so I can just get comfortable with the amount of knights that I need, right? I'm on 15, but you guys saw the queue, it's quite high. So what happens now is he starts sieging my Barbican of the Sun, and I'm going to start pulling some villagers just to keep that repair up, and then I'll buy some wood just to stabilize my wood economy, that I know that I can actually repair this, right? And then you can select your enemy army like this. I can see what he has, 23 knights. I can click on a single knight. Okay, he has all the upgrades. What's the likelihood of this army winning? With those numbers, not high. So you can see immediately 3 blacksmiths coming down, plus the increased training speed, getting my housing and my economy stabilized. And this is huge for him, because he's now Imperial age, which doesn't immediately give him any bonuses, but it does give him those +3 upgrades. You can see the armor he already got. So these are quite tanky boys. 5 melee armor on these knights. And he got the speed upgrade. He can go for the shattering projectiles and the geometry upgrades now that he can do. He also has the Wingard's Palace, really cool. You can see 4 trebuchets now, really great push here. Really strong army that he has here, right? But if he pushed with the knights at the same time, just to cause some pressure, I wouldn't have had the time to build up the numbers. But with, you know, 6 stables, if you press F2, you can select all your unit producing buildings. I just bind it to 7, so automatically I press F2, then control 7, then I bind everything, and now you can see I can train what I need. And I have a single springald here, just so I can start pushing forward. Now the springald has more than enough range to deal with this, but because of the elevation, springalds can't curve their shots. They need direct line of sight, so it needs to be a straight shot for them to get their shots off. So they're really pushing it on this Barbican of the Sun, but I have some villagers down here repairing it, and you can see the springald shot goes off, and very shortly after that he's going to respond. You can see the repairs coming through, and the bit of damage that he got is from my counterweight clock trebuchet. And you can see now, I'm saying that a lot, sorry guys. A lot of upgrades coming through. The +1s are done, +2 defense is coming very shortly. But the thing is, we have 29, we counted his 25, so we push the knights forward and we use this splash damage of these clockwork towers to really decimate these numbers. And you can see we got a nice projectile shot off here at the back, so we dealt with the crossbows. But even under armored, we had the number advantage, and we have the reinforcement advantage, because we have, you know, so many knights queued up, and because of that we could actually decimate a big loss for him here. And we also have almost all of our numbers still, and the big advantage there was just those 3 clockwork towers, nest of bees, that just dealt with his siege very effectively. We didn't lose the Barbican with that repair. We have our counterweight trebuchets up, and now it's a bit of a rat race. This is where your if you know your faction, you'll know where your keybinds and stuff are, for jumping back and forth through all your different upgrades. A thing to learn, you can see now he's actually struggling to get his food economy up, and because of that he has to make horsemen, right? And horsemen has, oh sorry, they actually had 7 melee armor, not this was the wrong one I looked at earlier. So now he's training horsemen, but this is a waste of resources, right? Because you can see on his queue, if we press F2 on his side, he's training mass. I don't know if this was a mistake, the horseman, but he's going mass horseman against a knight composition. So this is free for me on the kills, right? So I'm gaining any resource advantage that he has. I'm gaining back right now because I'm dealing with the knights, and my knights are able to cause no idle time because he's not responding to it. But this is something I want to show you guys. I'm sitting on 91 villagers. He's sitting on 142 villagers. That's way too much villagers. 60 military is too little for an army because your counterweight trebuchets and stuff, they take more capacity, more population than units. So it's 3 population per siege work or per trebuchet or mangonel. And now I'm going for disrupting his economy because there's no walls defending this at the back. There's no castle. So I have the units here at the back to defend. I have the very strong keep with that extra hand cannon upgrades. They just do so much damage. It's beautiful. And now we're going to upset a bit of the economy, create some idle time, sieging a random market here, not really controlling the military very well. But I don't have to be scared of him because the units that's fighting me is horsemen, and we also have the +5 ranged armor. So the outposts and the towers and the town centers, they just don't do any damage to me, and the horsemen even less. So because of that, we can just keep on training the knights, and he doesn't have the military buildings of going men-at-arms or spearmen. He didn't even train any of them. So because of that, we are just keeping up with the knights, clockwork, counterweight trebuchets, and then just creating a lot of forward pressure by keeping the keeps up, and from here it's just downhill for him. You know, we have a lot of keeps, map control, base control, and as soon as this wood line is finished, I'll go for my Imperial Age. I'm still fighting in Castle Age, but I have the number advantage, and he has Imperial Age and Imperial Age upgrades over me. But because of those clockwork nest of bees and the number advantage, we did win that fight. So now he lost the 4 town center, idle time on those villagers. He expanded to the gold here at the back, and he goes for archeries again. Instead of going for archery ranges, you should have gone for 5 or 6 barracks and get some spearmen out, because you're not seeing any other unit on my side. It's just knights and trebuchets. That's all I'm doing, and the knights can run through his base because they don't get affected by the range. We actually have a few what do you call it, fire lancers inside there, standard fire lancers, but that's basically the same thing as a as a horseman. The only difference is they have quite high siege damage. They have 36 siege damage, whereas you can see the knights only has 16. So a huge difference on the siege damage that these fire lancers have. And you can see now he's going for crossbowmen now here at the back. I tried actually dropping a keep, but I saw that this was all buildings. So I went and just pulled 2 keeps here just to defend in case he was thinking of pushing forward. He expands to farms here at the back, and in my opinion these few farms are more efficient than any other farms that he had in the game. And now it's just about finishing up the game, going for landmarks. Asked him why he didn't surrender, but he was confused with the armies. He was the click-through rate. Like, that's the big thing about Age of Empires. You have to get comfortable with going from one action to the next, being able to control your base, your units, your upgrades, your military production, your idle time on your villagers, all of that at the same time while you're busy raiding and fighting the enemy. And yeah, kills the lost landmark, and good game gets called, or forced, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much for watching again, guys. I know it's been a while for the videos, but the focus is now for the next season to at least try and get into Diamond and in the top 1000, or top 500 in the world. That's going to be the focus. We'll try and focus a lot on quality rank and one or two factions at most that we'll use, and maybe see if we can get one or two tournaments in. But if there's any feedback from your guys' side, please let me know. Please let me know, what rank did you get for the previous season, and let's take it further from there. Hope you guys enjoy your day.